it's Adriana Monique Alvarez. I'm the founder of Alma Publishing, and we are continuing our So Much More Stories series. And today I have two guests, actually. I have Grant Alvarez with me being my co-host, and we are so excited to be hearing from Karen Dean. Hi, Karen. How are you?
Hello, I'm great. How are you guys?
Excellent. Now, Grant has a question for you, Karen.
What?
Where do you live?
Where are
I
you
live.
joining us from, Karen? Yeah.
I live and I'm joining you from a tiny little rural community called Middle Musquodoboit, and it is in Nova Scotia on the east coast of Canada.
She lives in Canada, north of us.
Yeah.
Well, we are so glad that you are here today. And the reason we're doing this series is because we believe that sacred storytelling is so important and yet often lost in our modern society. Very few people sit around the campfire or with their grandparents, even the dinner table. And so we wanted to carve out some space to hear from people who know that their story matters. So, Karen, first off, how do most people know you? What do they know you as?
Most people know me first and foremost as a mom, and secondly, as a successful entrepreneur. But I am so much more than that.
Yes, you are. Now, is there anyone that you would like to dedicate this story to?
I want to dedicate this story to every woman, especially the moms, especially the single moms out there who think they can't get through whatever they are facing right now, because we all have everything we need inside of us to get through the really tough times. And my story is a great example of that.
Beautiful. Well, Karen, we'd like to hear your story.
Well, I'm going to take you on a little journey. So picture the excitement of a young woman who just married the man she's going to spend the rest of her life with. She'd graduated from university a year before that, and she had so many dreams for her future. But she always believed that she was put on this earth first and foremost to be a good wife and a good mother. She and her new husband, they're busy getting their new life started. They have a beautiful log home. They're planning for their future. Her new husband promised her everything she'd ever dreamt of as a little girl. The beautiful home, he would love her, he would protect her, he would support her dreams, he would provide financially so she could focus on raising kids and do whatever else she wanted to do. It was all so good, almost seemed too good to be true. So they both wanted children right away, and 2 weeks after they got married, she excitedly ran into his arms, carrying that home pregnancy test showing 2 lines. She was pregnant. It was a dream come true. So she was really excited to be a mom. She had baby names picked out since she was a little girl. But just imagine the shock when the response to this news from the man she thought would love her and protect her forever was that he would shoot her in the head if she ever tried to leave him. When something seems too good to be true, it usually is. That young woman lived in fear from that point forward and tried to make the marriage work. She was so scared to leave. She didn't think she could handle being a single parent, and she thought she could love all this trouble away. She didn't have a job. She didn't have a way to support herself for this child. She had no idea how to live life outside of that marriage. Her next big hurdle came 3 years into the marriage when she gave birth to their second child. And when that little baby was 8 weeks old, she sat in a hospital room without her husband while a team of doctors told her that her baby boy had been born with a permanent brain injury and would probably never be able to walk or talk. Her husband rejected the fact that there was something wrong with this child, refused to go to any doctor's appointments with her and the baby. So she and that little boy went to hundreds of appointments with medical professionals while she juggled looking after him and her daughter, helping the husband run their business. She found all the medical and professional help possible for her son. She did whatever she could to help him at home. And that little boy went on to prove those doctors wrong. And 5 years later, he walked onto the school bus and started school just like everyone else, without requiring any adaptations or extra help. He was truly a miracle boy. Even the top doctors couldn't understand how he was able to have the same abilities as you or I, but he does because his mom always told him he could do it. She always believed in him, so he believed in himself. Their story continues when almost 10 years after that fateful wedding, the mom finally got brave enough to leave that abusive relationship, hoping that her husband wouldn't actually act on the threat that he had made countless times throughout their marriage, that he was going to take her life if she tried to leave him. On the rebound, she jumped into a new relationship, got married, had another child. Her first husband abandoned his two children, willingly gave up all his rights to them. So the new husband adopted those two kids and promised to be the best dad they had ever had. But in a repeat of her first marriage, as soon as they were married and she was pregnant, the abuse started. This time, it wasn't just her, though. This time, she found out a few years into the marriage that he had also been abusing her children. The universe will keep giving you a different version of the same lesson until you learn what you are supposed to learn. It was the night that she found out about the abuse of her children that she chose to live life on her own as a single parent to now 3 kids who desperately needed her to figure life out. But the hard times kept coming. In the years following that divorce, her ex-husband attempted suicide 4 times, was admitted to mental hospital several times. In addition to all of that chaos, her oldest daughter's lung collapsed at school one day at the age of 14. The next year, the same daughter was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis at 15. Her son, that little boy who fought so hard to be just as capable as everyone else, was diagnosed with a rare and aggressive form of cancer at the age of 19. Through all that, she built a beautiful home for her family and started a hobby farm from scratch. She started and grew successful businesses. She raised over $120,000 for families in her province who were suffering as a result of horrible tragedies. She published a book that became a category bestseller on Amazon for over 6 months. And she raised those children to be successful, kind, and caring humans. She also learned to believe in herself. She made some hard choices to remove the people from her life who kept trying to knock her down, even if they were family members. She found people who cheered her on and who dreamed big dreams like she did. She proved to herself that she could do things, all of the things, without a man. She empowered her children to pursue their dreams. She learned how to set boundaries in her relationships. She found joy in every day, even the incredibly hard days. And most importantly, she learned to deeply and completely love herself. And that alone empowered her to become a very different woman than that young woman she was so many years ago. That young woman was me, but a very different version of the woman that I am today. I've been a completely solo parent to those 3 incredible children for more than 10 years, and I'm now truly living my dreams.
Wow, Karen.
I have a question. So, did the boy ever learn how to talk?
Yes, she said he did. He went to school with everyone else.
Yeah, he's just like you were at your age. He walks, he talks, and he's a big, tall boy now. He is 6'2", and I think you would think his job is really cool because he drives a giant, big dump truck in a gold mine.
That's
really
cool,
huh? Yeah.
Wow. I'm so glad, number one, that you went on that journey and that you chose to love yourself through it and kept making choices that would serve you and your children, and that you're able to share this publicly, because I know oftentimes when this is the story, it is very difficult to get it out because there is still so much fear or shame or other big emotion that stands in the way. So thank you so much, Karen.
You're welcome. And I hope by sharing my story that I am helping other women to have the bravery to get through it and also to share their stories, because I think we empower so many other people by being real and sharing our truth. And we have nothing to be ashamed of. I know we take a lot of the blame as women, And it took me a long time to figure out that none of this was my fault. The biggest fault I had was not loving myself enough to make better choices in who I spent my time with. That was the biggest thing I was at fault for. And everything else was all those other people. And, you know, obviously the health issues were not anybody's fault, but I'm so grateful that I found the power within myself to get my kids through that in the best possible way.
Absolutely. Karen, where can people learn more about you and the work that you do?
I'm available to do keynote speeches, podcast interviews, summits, conferences, trainings. I'm honored to share the tools that I've learned with women all over the world to help empower them to live their best lives, no matter what the universe throws at them. And I want to add, this is what I used to tell my son when he was really little and he was delayed in all of the milestones. I used to say, there's no such thing as I can't. There's only I don't want to. So if my story resonates with you, you want to learn more about my journey and the services I provide, you can connect with me at KarenDeanSpeaks.com. And on social media, you can just search at Karen Dean Speaks. And if you want to be inspired by women just like me, you can order my best-selling book, which you can see behind me on the side, called We Are Unbreakable. It's on Amazon or wherever you buy books online. And I'm also releasing what's called the Fierce and Fabulous Self-Love Journal. And it will be out very soon with just some tools that I've used to help me get through my journey. So it's actually on Amazon now, but I don't even have my copy of it yet. So I haven't promoted it, but hopefully you guys will pick it up and let me know what you think.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Karen. And I want to remind everyone, this is the power of telling your story. There's so much that others can learn, so much courage that they can borrow from you, from the wisdom that you have gleaned. I want to remind you, if you would like to share your story here, we'd love to have you. Feel free to send me a message. And if you would like to share your story in the Younger Self letters, I have a link to apply. Until next time, thank you, Grant, for joining me. Thank you, Karen, for sharing your story.
Thank you.
We shall talk soon. Remember, you get to write the story. And as Karen said, you can always love yourself a little more today. All right.
Bye, Karen.
Bye, Grant.